Research about a forage grazing regime that focuses the cattle herd as it grazes across a pasture took place at 10 locations across South Dakota.
What we're doing is giving these cows about, there's about 80 pair right in here today, and they get about 3/4 of an acre twice a day. One of the first things in the morning when we come to check, we just want to make sure that the power is still running in the fencer, showing that it's kicking out 5,300 volts. So we know that it's been working overnight and it's good to go. Now to move it, I'm just going to shut it off while we do that. Now we can go move the fence. So what I'm doing now is we're going to go across. I'm going to move the wire over half the distance I want for now, and then I move it the rest of the way when we come back. I'm not really interested in the trampling and everything so much. Right now I'm just wanting to give them a really high quality diet. We're right in the middle of breeding season. Pretty much the only time I do use the mob grazing as a tool is during that breeding season. I really like to be out here morning and night checking on bulls and making sure that everything is going right out here. I have the time to take the 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening to do that. I try to have them moved by 7 o'clock in the morning and again by 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the evening. And like I say, it's just I'll use it from the end of July through just about second week in September or something, and then we'll go back to another rotation type, a longer term. Right now, just the combination having the warm season grass at its peak and being able to hit it every day, that it just made good sense to me that this was a proper way to utilize this. The rest of the year I'm doing other rotational grazing, even some continuous grazing or for maybe a month or two in the dormant season. The blue stem that we're standing in right now, obviously the very best part of it is the top third of that plant, but also that middle third will meet all their needs also. I like to have them at least have 40 pounds of material out there of the good stuff. We'll probably move, when we move into an area, we've got from 60 to 80 pounds of material there, but we're gonna leave that bottom stuff. They tend to, the first hour or two, this top third will go, and then the rest of the day or afternoon they're going to be working on that middle third. And with the top third and the middle third mixed together, the ration stays really good for them. It's more or less, for me, I find a way to stretch the best feed. And I think that's probably what I've tried to figure out, well, what is the best thing about this? But it really calms the cattle down. But having that fresh feed for them, because we've run into situations where we're going to be gone for a couple, 3 days, and we'll give them like 3 days worth of feed, which normally under the mob system would have been great, but we know what happens. They go around the whole piece the first day and eat the very top, and then they come back and start eating down a little bit farther, and by the third day they're really not liking what's left out there that they've been trampling on. So it really does extend your feed source. Probably the tricky part is always figuring out how much to give them for that time. And some days you give them a little bit too much, and maybe some days you don't give them quite enough. But as you move across the landscape, everything changes. You get a hill, you get a low spot, whatever. So you just kind of got to look back and see, okay, the last 12 hours, how did you go? And pretty much gauge your move by what just happened. When I first started, the first 2 years, I was moving once a day. That worked good. I thought that was pretty good, but and I was always moving in the mornings, but they were really quite aggressive, wanting to get to that new. So after 24 hours of kind of chewing around on that other stuff, they wanted something new. When I went to this 12 hours thing, now they really, they just kind of walk into those areas, and they're not trying to jump over one another or whatever, try to get to the stuff. You'll notice when they're coming through the first time, they're looking for any kind of, like there's a little alfalfa patch over there. As soon as they see an alfalfa clump or a sweet clover clump, that's what they're picking out the very first time. Kind of a race to see who can find all those little clumps. We do start to build a lot of litter around here. I think that's very important. As you look off in the background, I've got a lake right here. We don't want runoff. I like to tell people that if they call me up and ask me how much rain I got, I hope I can tell them we got it all. Because runoff does nobody any good, and I want it left right where it's falling out here. I have water pipelines, above ground pipelines running all over the place. I still haven't decided if I wanted some more central locations for some of my tanks, because that's one thing we set up here, and they'll keep going back to that same spot for water, and it works fine for them, and so I'm not chasing them with water. And I think that's a drawback maybe for some people, think that they got to drag that water with them every time they move the cows, and that's not necessary. They'll walk up, get their drink of water, come back here. They don't spend hardly any time on stuff they've been on previous days. It's just to walk across there if they want to. So I'm getting to the age where I don't really need to change a whole lot of things. If I changed anything, unfortunately, it'd probably be I'd go to a yearling operation sometime if I wanted to have the winter off and not have to be feeding cows, you know, if I had the time to do it, because I think they would really benefit from that. Last year we had rain up until the 1st of July. It shut off, but the grass just kept right on growing. And even though it was dry, clear, you know, like I say, no moisture at all, it kept growing all the way through August on us, and that drought wouldn't hurt. Now, if we'd have had a drought in you know, April, May, and June, then we've probably got a different story. You know, if we're not getting anything in the summer. So, it's there again. It's if you get the rain, keep it, put it in the roots, save it for a dry day, I guess. Start small. Try it for a week, simply. You know, just set aside a piece of pasture, or maybe you got just a small pasture, and get it hooked up so you got electric fence so you can run a portable wire across there, and try it for a week and just see. And at the end of the week, your cows will know exactly what you're trying to do anyway. And if you like it, hey, that's fine, you know. And if you don't, you've tried it. All the acres that we've sowed down, at least I know in my lifetime, I'm not giving up any soil from this farm anyway. It's all staying here. That's pretty important if you care about the future at all. I don't want to have somebody trying to figure out how in the world to farm or grow something when all the soil's been washed away. So the very best thing for mob grazing is I sure like seeing cows every day, and it gives me an excuse to come out here. I think the cows enjoy, obviously. I don't know if you can tell what a happy cow is, but they certainly seem content around here. Versus when I've seen or had them in other situations, or seen other herds where they're all crowded up against the fence and looking across to see, looking for something else to eat, and yet there's grass in that pasture, but it's been trampled on, or it's more mature, or it's the leftovers. Here we don't make them really eat the leftovers. They just get the first course and they move on.